It's really easy to get into a place in our lives where we feel like there are 1,000 things vying for our attention and we don't know where to start. We make a bunch of scattered to-do lists and we hope those are going to be the thing that actually help us to be more productive, but in the end, we just kind of keep making the same list over and over again without gaining any real traction. So today, we're going to talk about not only how to make a really great effective list that actually doesn't just create more overwhelm, but helps you to have a plan moving forward, and then how to actually move forward with that plan. We are going to talk all about the brain dump. Or if you don't like the sound of that, you can call it a brain stream. I don't really care what you call it, as long as you're using it to be more effective and less overwhelmed in your life. So the first step is you need to get everything from here down on a piece of paper or in a Google Doc or someplace where you can actually see the items. You can do this however you want to. I personally think it's most effective to do it by hand. There's something about that brain to hand connection that helps us to get more things down and think through the process as we're going. You can also think of this as a rough draft. The things that you are putting down right now are just the raw material that you are then going to turn into a list that is workable. I think a great way to start doing this is to categorize. So create a bunch of different categories, things that pertain to your specific life. Maybe things like work, home, cars, kids, maintenance, whatever it is that you have going on in your life that you have a whole bunch of different to-do items bopping around in your head about, those are the things that you need to get down on the paper. So break it down into whatever categories you personally need, and don't worry if you don't think of them all to begin with. You can always add categories later as things come up, which they inevitably will as you start working through all the stuff that is in your head. Just get it down. Don't think too hard about it, just start writing. And again, you can add to this list later, so don't let it stop you if you don't feel like it's perfect. Maybe even set a timer for yourself. Do this brain dumping process for 10 minutes, and then move on to step 2. Step 2 is where you prioritize. So you take each of these categories individually and you start figuring out which things are the most important for you to get done, which things are the most pressing. Do they have actual due dates that you need to get them done by? You can prioritize them however makes sense to you. You can color code them, you can give them different numbers, you can star them, whatever makes sense to you. And then I actually recommend that you then rewrite your list. Rewrite it in priority order so that you can see from top to bottom what each category entails to get it done. But now we're going to add in a sneaky third step that a lot of people don't talk about. We are going to go through each of these items on your list and we're going to give them a time budget. About how much time in approximation that you think each of these tasks will take. Because sometimes the overwhelm and procrastination that you might be facing with a lot of your tasks has very little to do with how big the big task is, and it has more to do with your overall bandwidth. And so if you see that you have some lower priority items that are actually only going to take you 5 or 10 minutes to complete, you can knock off a lot of those little less pressing tasks, but actually increase your overall bandwidth to get the bigger tasks done. And by putting times by each of these tasks, you can very clearly see where you can easily create more bandwidth for yourself by just knocking off some of those smaller things. So now you've categorized, you've prioritized, you've given time limits, which let's face it, they're approximations to each of these tasks. Now you need to move into action. You can do this a few different ways. I really recommend that you set aside maybe an hour, 2. Sometimes you need a whole day to just go through and knock off a bunch of those little tasks. Do you need to send packages or make returns or make some calls to make appointments, do some easy maintenance on your car, any of those kinds of things? You can set aside a procrastination day or a procrastination couple of hours where you just get these things done. You just laser focus and know that that is your sole purpose for that time. And that helps to overall open up a lot of the time that you have to get these other bigger tasks done. Now you might need to go back into some of these bigger, higher priority items and break them down into even smaller pieces. Because a lot of times we put some big project on these lists and that feels so overwhelming because it feels like a really big thing. But if we continue to break these tasks down into smaller and smaller pieces, not only do we get a dopamine hit when we get to check off all those little things that we get done, we also make more incremental progress toward getting those bigger things done, which actually makes them happen. Instead of being intimidated by the large task, we start chipping away at them. It's that 1% idea of getting 1% better every day. You actually get to your goal a lot faster than waiting for 3 months to actually tackle the thing that you need to get done. You can also use this list as a handy reference tool when time opens up throughout your day. Say you have a block of a half an hour that you didn't expect to have in your day. You can refer to this list and figure out what little items you can get done in the amount of time that is opened up in your schedule. This also works well to be able to match up the kind of mood and energy you have to the items that are on the list so that you are able to maximize your time and do things that work for you in the moment. So that's it. Those are the simple steps to a thorough brain dump that you can actually put into practice. Create your categories, get everything out of your head, prioritize the items, give them an estimation of the amount of time they will take to get them done, and start knocking them out. Put them on your calendar. Use the list as a reference tool throughout your day so you can get those things done in the moment and break your bigger tasks into even smaller ones. We would also love to hear your tips. Pop your best tips into the comments below, and also if there are any particular productivity topics that you would like us to cover in future videos, let us know down below as well. And if you want to utilize some virtual body doubling to make getting this list done even more effective, then come over and join us on Flown. We are running virtual co-working sessions all day, every day to help you get the things done that you need to get done more easily and with a community. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next week with even more productivity tips.